Will Brandon Aiyuk be a commander? Will Brandon Aiyuk... Oh, you know what? We aren't live on Rumble right now. I apologize to my Rumble people. It looks like there was an error. Hopefully they find us. Will Brandon Aiyuk be a commander? Will they release him? Will San Francisco wait until after the draft? Is there trade possibilities? The Niners are trying to punish Aiyuk, and rightfully so. Aiyuk kind of deserves it the way he's treated the mother-freaking 49ers. And so they're going to hold on to him before they release him, which is hampering his free agency opportunities. But the Niners are probably trying to trade him, but no one's trading for Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk will be released. But when he's released, the question is, that's the question we're asking today, because that's the only realistic outcome. When the Niners cut and release Brandon Aiyuk, will he find his way onto a Commander's roster? Will he meander his way onto this roster, or will Brandon Aiyuk just struggle to find a home because of all the off the field baggage, the head case situation, the injury, coming back from injury, the lack of trust a team's going to have in a guy that literally screws the organization, that's on their way marching through the playoffs, trying to get home field advantage. If Aiyuk wanted to help the Niners when the Niners were making that playoff push, they could have won a Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks had home field advantage. The Niners almost had home field advantage. Had Brandon Aiyuk stepped up, maybe the Niners would have had home field advantage. Whoever had home field advantage was the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Seattle might not have even made the Super Bowl had they gone through the tougher route to get there. They got a cakewalk route. Number 1 seed, they walked straight in. The Niners looked a lot tougher in that position. And it's going to be hard for teams to trust Brandon Aiyuk when he had the world on a silver platter. Playoff team, $30 million per year, a lot of guaranteed money he threw away, didn't even return phone calls, forfeited his money, his guaranteed money, went off the rails. Why would a team invest in him? I don't know. The reason for that is human beings are involved. Do I believe that Brandon Aiyuk should get a chance to play football with Jaden Daniels, his best friend? I don't. I don't think he should. I don't think they should go after him. Do I think there's a chance that Aiyuk could bring something to the table? Sure. Am I drafting him in best ball once in a while? Yeah. Just because, I do believe that the human beings involved in making these decisions will have him on a roster somewhere. But do I want Brandon Aiyuk on any yearly league teams in my home leagues? I don't. But we'll break it all down, the likelihood of this, the likelihood of that, and a couple other things that you want to talk about. Phone lines will be open. Man, I feel bad for the Rumblers. I don't think I could. Let me see if I can try and. I don't think I can add it. But anyway, we'll have them on the Graveyard Show. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
I don't know what to say here other than Aiyuk does not deserve to be traded. Aiyuk does not, and he probably won't be. Aiyuk will get released. Aiyuk does not deserve to partake in free agency right now because he literally screwed this team, the 49ers, out of a Super Bowl win. I'm not saying they would have for sure won if Aiyuk was playing and trying to help them, but they were in need at the wide receiver position. And this is a team that almost grabbed the home field advantage, cakewalk of an entryway into the Super Bowl. And it would have changed everything. It would have allowed them to get healthy, would have allowed them to gain some confidence. It would have, Aiyuk would have been there to help out. If he's talented, no one's doubting his talent. Will his talent be, readily available coming off the injury? I don't know about that. I don't even know if he'll be healthy. How can you be healthy when you're not even trying to play football? How can he go out there and be his tip-top shape and capable of staving off injury? He hasn't been taking hits or, playing NFL football. Like when Josh Gordon was away from the game, came back, it wasn't the same. When anybody steps away. Calvin Ridley stepped away. He was a little step behind every time he tried to return, and he just never could catch up. And a lot of these players, when they take time off, Deshaun Watson, you come back and you just aren't your same self. It's like you're, I don't know, chasing the optimal situation and you can never grasp it. It's always just a little bit too far out of reach when you take time off, whether it's your own doing or a suspension. But we're talking about when you're not playing an entire season, you're going through almost more than 365 days of just being away from not only the game, like you're not injured in the building and rehab, then getting back to the way things are, and your mind is in the same place it was. Like Aiyuk's mind is not set for football. His body's not prepared for football. So him jumping in and becoming the same version of himself that he once was, or get back to the upside and potential he had, I don't think is possible. Again, do I take him in a best ball draft here and there? I do. I throw up after, but I do grab him once in a great while. But I would never draft him in a non-best ball draft. Not that he couldn't fall like to the end of the draft where I would scoop him up in any scenario, but his ADP, the likelihood of where he's going to go in a home league non-best ball draft, I'm taking him 0 times because that's too high of a cost. And best ball, at least like if you missed half a year or wasn't good for 6 weeks, whatever, it wouldn't matter as much in best ball because you're not deciding to set a lineup. It's set for you optimal. And if anybody wants to maybe draft tonight, I'm not sure if we'll do a draft. It depends on the news. Underdog promo code Smitty. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. So hit the link that's in the description. Code Smitty gets it done as well. Okay, so now that you've heard my opinion is Aiyuk doesn't deserve to be on a team right now. Aiyuk does deserve to be sitting in limbo as the Niners control the situation and say, we're not cutting you. We're just going to let you sit here, have all these teams fill their wide receiver spots, have Juwan Jennings sign, maybe have teams draft wide receivers that really desperately need a wide receiver. Let the Commanders try and go acquire Jennings, and then they don't want Aiyuk anymore. That's what the Niners are doing to Aiyuk. They're holding him hostage, and he held them hostage the entire season. He ruined their season, so the Niners are ruining his 2026 and comeback tour. And it's understandable. And I don't think the Niners are wrong for doing it. I honestly believe Aiyuk, this is a taste of his own medicine. But neither here nor there. The question at hand is, do I think he'll play for the Commanders? Do I think he'll play for another team? Yes, I think he'll play for another team. I just don't know. I just don't know if the Commanders are this stupid. It would not be the best move in the world. I don't care if JD5 and him are best friends. But the thing you got to also keep in mind is that they had a chance, the Commanders, and Adam Peters, the GM for the Commanders that used to be the assistant GM over in San Francisco, the guy that identified Aiyuk and drafted Aiyuk. Adam Peters drafted Aiyuk. Adam Peters drafted Brock Purdy. Adam Peters drafted George Kittle late in the draft. Identifier of talent. He's amazing. He's a really good GM. And even though the Commanders suffered a lot of injuries and turmoil last year, it's not on Adam Peters. Those things happen. The Eagles have won a Super Bowl and had horrible years, and like that happens. Adam Peters, I think, is too smart for this, but the way I see it is that when they traded for Deebo Samuel, they could have went after Aiyuk. That's what JD5 wanted. Adam Peters said, hey, look, JD5, I know you want it, but I don't want it. I know what Aiyuk's capable of doing to the locker room. He knew Aiyuk's tendencies to potentially tear something down. He knew how much of a diva Aiyuk was. And I think he truly didn't want to acquire Brandon Aiyuk for a lot of those reasons, and they went after Deebo instead. I don't think anything's going to change. If anything, Aiyuk looks less attractive now than he did back when they were trying to make that trade, right? Because even though he's holding out, it was understandable. Business is business. Players hold out all the time. Things get out of hand. But Aiyuk has literally thrown tantrums, made a fool of himself on social media, threw money down the drain, showing that he's not all there, and then he screwed his team and didn't show up when they needed him. They were going to the playoffs. How much I don't know. What are you asking for? What do you want? When the Niners are like, here's money on a platter. You're going to get $30 million a year, and there's guaranteed money right here. But you're getting paid $30 million a year annually. And here's your guaranteed money on a silver platter. And by the way, you didn't have to be here all year, but we're going to the playoffs. You want to jump on the train and help us go win a championship, get a ring? And what's he do? I'm going to stay away from the facility. And I'm going to throw my guaranteed money down the drain. And then I'm going to let you guys go to the playoffs and lose when you're capable of winning a Super Bowl. And he could be a part of it from the beginning of the playoffs on down through the entirety of the playoffs. It's not like he had to jump in the Super Bowl game. It's like he could have been a part of what they were trying to do. He could have come back and tried to help get home field advantage. So if I'm a GM, Adam Peters or anybody, I'm saying to myself, why would I trust this man who had the world on a silver platter, guaranteed money that he'll never see ever again, and a chance to go win a Super Bowl? And he decided to walk away. Who's going to trust that? But the problem is one of these GMs will. He'll be on a team. I just hope the Commanders are going to feel even more, I guess, turned off by the Aiyuk situation than they were when they could have had him when JD5 was begging. And they took Debo instead. Let's hope Adam Peters doesn't make a mistake here. Aiyuk had one good year and another decent year. Yeah, I agree. This report is what triggered today's conversation. ESPN, John Keim, reports the Commanders still want to add someone who could be a strong complement to their number one wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. And that kind of brings us to the NFL draft and saying that, this is where the Commanders are a potential suitor for Aiyuk, but they have the number 7 overall pick. They're often linked to Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon. And there's a chance that they go and get one of those guys right here. McLaurin's older. Ziggy, volume 10. Ziggy, how old is Terry McLaurin and when's his birthday?
Terry McLaurin is 30 years old and was born on September 15th, 1995.
So 31.
Would you like to know more about Terry McLaurin?
I don't, Ziggy. I don't. Ziggy off. So 31 years old when the season begins. I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist. You're not a rocket scientist. None of us. Maybe we have a rocket scientist watching. I don't know. If you're a rocket scientist, raise your hand. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that Terry McLaurin's got maybe a year or two left if we're lucky. Like he could potentially. He's kind of taken abuse over the years. Hospital Ball City, he's lived in for so long. I liken him to like a Jacobs career. Somebody that just been abused for a while, and then it's like Mixon too. Just abused, and they finally get a nice situation at the tail end, and they muster up a couple years. But there's a world where McLaurin plays one more really good year, and then he's completely littered with injuries and riddled with injuries the rest of the way. So there's a true opportunity here for the Commanders to put Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, 2 very good prospects. Mekhi Lemon's okay, but Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson are by far and away the top 2 wide receivers in this draft class. Jordan Tyson could be the next CeeDee Lamb. Give JD5 Jordan Tyson, and I give you a connection that rains down on fantasy football for a decade plus. I give you a top 10 wide receiver. I give you JD5 consistency to the moon. And it also helps McLaurin maybe stay healthy a little bit longer, but that transition will happen after this year where Jordan Tyson would pass him. If Jordan Tyson wouldn't outscore him this year, he might. So I'm hoping that is the move that we're hearing and where this smoke is coming from, and the fire from the smoke ends up being Jordan Tyson. That would be my number one, I guess you could say, wish list landing spot hope for Jordan Tyson would be the Washington Commanders. JD5 is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the National Football League. Anybody that doesn't say that he is. Anybody that disagrees with that doesn't know ball, and that's okay. Not everybody does. But Jordan Tyson is a route monster. You put this good hands route monster, amazing specimen, CeeDee Lamb-like specimen in the sights of JD5, who throws an immaculate, precise football every time. Can hit one of those nets this big from like 40 yards away. You telling me this kid doesn't flourish into a CeeDee Lamb prospect? This is the pick to make. This is the pick to make. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Darling. We can discuss whatever you want. JSN, Tyson, yeah. Gregory. I mean, there's a lot of comparisons for Tyson. Tyson, a little bit of JSN, not exactly JSN type, but a little bit of JSN, a little bit of CeeDee Lamb kind of combo, and a little bit of St. Brown. Carnell Tate has a lot of, I want to say like Chris Carter, because he truly is that kind of receiver, like a Nico Collins, Chris Carter type of combo is what I would say with Carnell Tate. Makai Lemon, man, that's a tougher one. I don't even think his comp, I'm not giving you a top 5 type of wide receiver comp for Makai Lemon, because I don't think Makai Lemon's a top 5 wide receiver. I think, style of play it's hard to say. Yeah, Rumble, we didn't get live on Rumble, Joseph. Rumble, for some reason, there was an error. So we aren't live on Rumble right now, but we will for the midnight show, don't worry. Bruce, you're live. Hello. Hey, Brucey.
Hey, for our boy Aiyuk, you don't think JD5 would kind of pound at the table and start getting pissed off and say, listen, I want my boy and nobody else? Do you think JD5 would have that type of, vibe to him? Does he give you that type of vibe?
That type of vibe, no. Would he maybe go to the to Adam Peters, the GM's office, knock on the door, sit down and say, look, I want my brother here. I want my pal, my ASU alum, buddy. And, I could see, and then you got Rachaad White, right? Let's get the ASU crew together. But Jordan Tyson's from ASU. So to me, it's like, this makes even more sense, which is crazy when you think about it, because Jordan Tyson, ASU, Jaden Daniels, ASU, Rachaad White, ASU, Brandon Aiyuk, ASU, Cam Scatterbo, ASU, a lot of ASU. I mean, I am not one to promote my own school. I'm not that kind of person. But ASU's been delivering a pretty solid product lately. It's been pretty good. I think business has been good. Now JD5 didn't play well at ASU, might I remind you. But doesn't matter. It's still this connection. But I don't know. To be honest with you, bro, who's to say he even, when you've got that buddy that's off his rocker, you still support him. You're still his buddy. You're still always going to be his, one of his best friends. But I think JD5 probably knows he's not in the right headspace too. So is he really going to go to Adam Peters and be like, look, I need this. We need to do it. I mean, Adam Peters might say, bro, take a look at what he's doing. We don't know where his head's at. The guy had guaranteed money that he'll never sniff ever again. At his fingertips, he walked away from it and left his team hanging. His team had a chance to clinch home field advantage, and he allowed his team to be sitting there. He left his team at the altar, left his money bag at the altar. I don't know how a GM, and again, one will bring him in. Somebody will bring him in. But I don't know how you trust the man at all. Because John and Kyle were blowing his phone up saying, can you please come back? What is going on? Update us. Aiyuk stayed away. Just stayed away. Drove by the stadium going 90 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour, flipping off the stadium. Remember that? He had to apologize for that. just acting all crazy on social media. Something's wrong. People can assume, wide receivers taking headshots, AB, Puka Nacua right now. Puka Nacua kind of right now, like you can sit here and go, he's living his best life, leave Puka alone. Or the other perspective is that, Puka's showing some signs that, maybe he's a little bit going down a direction we just hope he's not, right? Let's hope he just levels out. He's dating everybody under the sun, doing all kinds of weird public stuff. Like he's just become a flashy as hell. And he never really was that guy. So the fame's getting to him. And maybe, you can defend him all you want. I love Puka Nacua. I draft him 1, 2, or 3 overall in redraft. So I'm not ripping on the man's, what he can bring to the table. But you do wonder, personality changes with wide receivers is very commonplace because they take so many unnecessary headshots. And we don't know how many concussions these guys actually have per season, because there's plenty of times where their bell is rung and they're still in the huddle. They're not just going to surrender themselves every time they feel rattled. So these receivers completely get smashed. And the concerns for CTE, the concerns for all kinds of things. The personality changes, though, are what you notice. When somebody gets erratic or starts acting in a completely 180-degree direction, that's when you start having a little bit of concern, right? Aiyuk is off his rocker. There's nothing that explains why you don't want to play football for a team that's trying to march into a home field advantage playoff positioning, and they're paying you a boatload of money, and you walk away from it all for no apparent reason. You can't explain it. You have no good excuse. You haven't told anybody anything. You haven't picked up the phone for your team. Imagine like walking out on your employer, setting the place on fire, and then going to other job interviews, and they're like asking you about it. Like, what in the hell is this, bro? Like, if I give you the keys to the castle, what are you going to do to it? But guess what? There are bad decision makers in high places across this league. I just hope Adam Peters doesn't screw it up. Ron Navy, not only on the phone line, Bruce, mute yourself real quickly, but he also dropped a $20 hauler. Ron Navy, appreciate you doing that, young man. You are live. You're live, young man.
What's up, Smitty?
What's up, Ron?
Hey, I just had to call in and read my thing. It says tonight is the night. You know what that means? In about an hour, I'm going to the airport to pick her up.
Oh, going to get his girl. Congratulations, Ron. Appreciate
meatloaf.
So I thought I'd update you. Yep,
nice.
It's happening.
Ron's getting married. Congratulations, Ron.
Yeah.
Everybody's...
All righty, brother. I'm going to let you go.
All right. Well,
get on with your show.
Hey, real quick, before you go, 30 seconds. Prediction,
Yeah.
where's
Okay.
Aiyuk land? Are your Steelers going to be the ones to bring him in? Because they're always looking for receivers.
Oh, I hope not.
Where's he go, though?
I
Prediction.
hope not.
30 seconds prediction. Where's he playing next year? Go.
Miami.
It's possible. We did kick that around the other night. Because we said that what if Willis gets they get Aiyuk, they draft Jeremiah Love at number 11, they trade Achane for first rounder to the Chicago Bears, so they get the 25 pick and another second rounder, and then the Miami Dolphins have Love, Aiyuk, Willis, and all these first round, second round picks. Like that's what we kicked around as an idea. All right, Ron, thank you. Good luck. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Smitty. Later, chat.
Calling at midnight if you're around. Later. Probably won't be.
All right, we'll do.
He'll be busy.
Yeah, right.
All right, later, Ron.
Yeah, later.
Ron Navy. Congratulations, Ron. Nabbage with a super chat. Nabbage,
I smell meatloaf.
Ron picks up his girl from the airport. First night. Honey, I'm sorry. I got to go. I got to go to the show. The show needs me. Yeah. Need a wide receiver. Kyron for 2 of Parker Washington, Mike Wilson, or Pierce. Kyron for 2 of P. Wash, Michael Wilson, Pierce. In Dynasty, look, I like Kyron, but I am in the business of selling him. I think Michael Wilson and P. Wash would be a good return. I'm going to go ahead and Smitty approve of that combo, my man. All right, Bruce, you're back live. What can I do for you, Brucey?
My question's on Debo. I know why, because I know the guy gets a little bit. Do you think is there any chance he can return to the Commanders or no? Or do you think he's going to sign like later after the draft?
I think he could. I think he could. It's hard to say. I think given what we're hearing, it doesn't seem like it's in the path form right now or in the path of the Commanders. But I think there's a chance that, things could go in a weird way. And then Ayuk's like, we thought Ayuk was going back to San Francisco, but Christian Kirk kind of put a damper on that one. But that's kind of my point as to what the Niners are doing with Aiyuk is that while some of these teams might be interested in Aiyuk, but like the Commanders, they're going to move on, potentially. Not all of them. Maybe the Commanders still want Aiyuk later. But there's a real good chance that, a Juwan Jennings ends up, stepping into the role that Aiyuk could have got, and they're plenty happy with that. Aiyuk comes with a lot, and that's a receiver that, that I think would fit pretty well in Washington. But we'll see. I hope it's a rookie. I hope that this report right here, even though everyone's throwing stuff at the wall, right? Just throwing mud at the wall. If in fact the Commanders are really, really, really badly wanting to fill this wide receiver spot with something more significant than a Jennings or a free agent signing or a risky Aiyuk, I hope that it's Jordan Tyson, bro. Jordan Tyson goes to the mother freaking moon with JD5. I'd go as far as to say, man, I'd want him over some rather big name players in Dynasty. I just take the gamble.
Would you rather have him over Tate there?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's my number one, rookie wide receiver. And even saying like in the context of let me get rid of this real quick. Lewis, appreciate you by the way for this old super chat. In the context of, let's say, like Garrett Wilson, Jordan Tyson, Dynasty. Let me put these two guys on screen. I mean, some people might say, "Oh, Garrett Wilson." He's like if Garrett Wilson were in New England, which is where I want him to get traded, this would be such a like almost 2 or 3 times more surprising than the Denver Waddle trade. If all of a sudden the Jets move Garrett Wilson to, like the New England Patriots. And teams like the Patriots should be on the phone offering ridiculous offers for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's a monster. Garrett Wilson would be unbelievable in New England catching footballs from Drake May. But as it stands right now, Garrett Wilson's in a horrible situation. Just a dreadful situation with probably one of the worst coaches in the league. And then
quarterback in the league.
Yeah, worst quarterback in the league, worst head coach in the league, probably one of the worst, offensive coaching staff situations. And you sit here and you say, okay, but it's Garrett Wilson. How long can we apologize for Garrett Wilson? If you give me Tyson in Washington, I want Tyson all day long. You give me, let me throw another example at you, the different than Garrett Wilson, just because I'm trying to show people how much I love Jordan Tyson. In Dynasty, if you give me, I know this one's going to maybe piss some people off. In Dynasty, give me Tyson over McMillan all day long. Tedero McMillan's nice, but come on, Puka. We're not throwing Puka into this conversation. No, of course Puka's he's number 1, number 2, number 3. But in Dynasty, there's concern. Like if you have Puka and Jamar Chase and JSN and you're trying to weigh all those out, you have to like start looking at the Puka Nacua situation.
Or I meant Mbuka, the one from.
Oh,
Tampa.
Egbuka. That's a good one, Bruce. I think I would probably say if Jordan Tyson was in Washington, it's near dead even to me. I love both of them. I think I'd split it. In one draft side by side, I'd draft Tyson, and one draft I'd draft Buka. There's a real chance though, as the season starts to emerge and we start seeing him, in his uniform, catching footballs, impressing in camp, that I could easily start leaning toward Tyson pretty heavily. So I'd say like down the middle in Washington, mind you, down the middle, even with the little lean, Dynasty this way. Redraft Egbuka. Redraft Buka. Dynasty, a slight lean Tyson, but kind of even Steven. All right, one more. Throw another name at me, Bruce, and I'm gonna move you off the phone line. You can call back if you have another one though.
Lad McConkey.
Redraft. There is a world where I do like Laddie Boy. A little bit, maybe more in redraft, and just a tiny bit more. But in Dynasty, it's not really close for me. That's how much I love Jordan Tyson. Even if you got into the Olave conversation, and Olave's got nice value right now because he's doubted enough because people still worry about the concussions. Then he had the blood clot though. That was kind of an issue. And we're still kind of unsure a little bit about that blood clot. Like, is it related to some of the headshots and stuff? I don't know. But from a Dynasty perspective, give me Jordan Tyson in Washington. Again, all of this conversation is about Jordan Tyson in Washington. In redraft, I think you have to go Olave. But Dynasty Jordan Tyson. But it's such a different, perspective because the rookie receivers are going to get eased in a little bit differently. But look what BTJ did his rookie year. It's certainly you could have a top 5-6 overall wide receiver season as a rookie. You certainly could. But because McLaurin's there, because I think there'll be some sort of transition and passing of the torch. Yeah. All right, Bruce, anything else?
How much you think the Vikings is J9 now on the block now that the Vikings brought back once?
No, not on the block. No one wants him. No one's going to trade for him. But there is a competition that Kyler is fully expected to win. But Jalen Naylor spoke about it. Obviously he's in LV now, playing for the Raiders. But he said that he'll be rooting for his boy JJ McCarthy, as he should say and would say. But it's going to be a competition, but it's one Kyler's fully expected to win.
Okay. All right,
Bruce. Appreciate you, pal. Later, bro. Let me see if do I have anybody else on the line? I don't think I do. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I feel bad for Rumble, man. I feel almost like I don't have my drawers on, without Rumble being side by side with us. Rumble's really been growing on me in terms of, being the sidecar, when we're here live. These are the YouTube shows. Like, make no mistake about it. The Monday through Friday 8 p.m. show, the Graveyard Midnight show, the Live Whenever News Break shows. Those are all YouTube shows. Like, Rumble is the sidecar. But Rumble is growing on me, and we're almost at 7K on Rumble. We're growing like hotcakes over there. And the beautiful part is when we hit 10K, or if someone drops, even if they drop it on this channel, I don't care if it's on Rumble or not, but someone drops a 500, the Rumble show begins the next day. And I can't guarantee how many days a week we're going to hit it, but we're going to try and do like more of like a noon, 1 p.m., something like that. 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Eastern, noon or 11 my time. And we'll start off with like one show and some random shows per week, but the goal is to eventually get it to be Monday through Friday on Rumble, and YouTube will be the sidecar. I'll definitely multi-stream, but YouTube will be the sidecar. That will be Rumble's show, the like noonish 1-2 p.m. show. But the moment someone drops that 500, not to mention the highest super chat of the year is in the trade calculator. Right now it's Hebrew Hammer. If you go to my trade calculator and you don't hit the positional search, you do the magnifying glass and you search for Hebrew Hammer. Just type in HEB or Hammer. As soon as you start typing, you'll see it filter down. You'll see Hebrew Hammers in the trade calculator. He can try and trade himself for Puka. I'll tell you what, it takes about, I think, 15, 20 players on one side to equal what Hebrew Hammer or whoever is the highest super chatter of the year. It takes, you can actually play around with it. You've got to add, I think, the entire top 18 overall players in order to outweigh Hebrew Hammer's value. And it literally says you trade Puka, JSN, Jamar Chase, Bijan Gibbs, Josh Allen, and try and trade all those guys for Hebrew Hammer right now. It'll say this is the worst trade you could ever make. Keep Hebrew Hammer. you gotta like play with it and figure out how to get, because he's worth $1,000 in auction dollars. Hebrew Hammer's worth $1,000 in auction dollars. So anybody that is the highest super chatter of the year it'll be rolling, but probably won't rotate too much when we get to that high number. But anybody that drops off $500 on either channel, we start the Rumble show immediately the next day. $50 hauler from Joseph, coming in strong like the monster that he is. Oh, and we dedicate the whole month of the Rumble show to that individual or their business, as long as it's not a competing business, of course. But Hebrew Hammer here. This is Hebrew Hammer is Joseph. Why do I forget that? Hebrew Hammer here. Please remind me when you do that, because I'm not used to the different names. It always throws me off. Sorry we're not on Rumble. I don't know why we got an error, but we'll be back at midnight. Hebrew Hammer here. Feels weird not being on Rumble and Rumble Realm. If I'm going tiers, tier 1 Gibbs, Bijan, Puka, Chase. For their 2 would be 4. Their 2. What, I don't know what you're saying here. Would you have for tier 2? I think you're saying for tier 2. Would you have this group in order? Taylor, Cook, JSN, St. Brown, or CD? My order of tier 2 of your tier 2. I have other players, but I would say JSN deserves to be in tier 1. JSN's the same as Puka and Chase to me, so I disagree there. So in your tier, I would have JSN tier break inside your tier, and then I'd probably go dead even across the board. Maybe CD Lamb is the second, then JT, and redraft and Dynasty JT would be at the bottom of it. It's kind of close, bro, but JSN deserves to be in your tier 1. $50 hauler, you straight up monster, you, bro. Hammer time. Oh, I'm sorry. Every time Hebrew Hammer drops his, because he's the leading super chatter of the year, anybody that ever drops the 250 mark, you get your own video whenever you drop in a super chat. Hammer.
It's hammer time.
All right. Hebrew Hammer, appreciate you. Knucklebuster says 500 buy. See ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Sorry that offends you. All right, Hebrew Hammer, you're live.
Smitty, what's going on?
What's up, pal?
On my little tier things with JSN, I don't know. I mean, obviously,
how is he not
sustain anything?
How is he not?
No. Oh no, I'm not. What I'm saying is, with Kubiak gone, that's really my question. It's the system. Obviously, he's already proven. I know what he is. It's him and Darnold. Will they be able to replicate something similar? That is where I only brought him down because I don't know.
I mean, you could maybe bring him down inside that top tier to the bottom part if you wanted and say that's my order reasoning, but I don't think you can pull him out until you see it collapse or something. I mean, JSN's great. He's unbelievable. And while Kubiak's amazing, we've seen, even when Ben Johnson, who is, you could say, even more amazing than Kubiak or equal, however you want to order Ben Johnson's value to the Detroit Lions versus Kubiak's value to the Seattle Seahawks, I think you could argue it's very similar. Gibbs was still amazing. St. Brown was still amazing. I'm not thinking that JSN drops off at all. He's so talented. He's unbelievable.
I might be high on Jonathan Taylor because I think people forget his numbers. I mean, really, he stopped once Jones got hurt because then you just load the box.
That's the crutch. That's the crutch, though. JT hasn't quite shaken the injury label away from me. I'm a little worried about that. For whatever reason, you can say it's nonsensical. That's fine, but I'm already worried. Like as the mileage is adding up, and JT's been abused for years, and so that to me, even if there isn't an injury history necessarily, even if there wasn't to bring to the table and say, well, show me the I'm telling you, my opinion is I'm concerned about wearing down, but I'm also, we've seen him be amazing with dimes. And the reason he was so good is because of dimes, like you said. Dimes, obviously is a huge factor here. And if things go awry there, we know where he's going to go. Back down, cut him down to size. So I'm a little bit more concerned about, dimes not missing a beat. How's this all going to go? I love Shane Steichen.
At the end of the day, and really in the first round, you just have to pick not to lose. So, like, essentially, that's really, especially again, the first round, like, everyone is talented. It's just, where are you not going to get burnt or what level?
Yeah, I can see that.
I had CD, and him and Gibbs were like my two guys, actually, like my two favorite players in the NFL. Dude, last year was weird with CD. I don't even think it was Pickens being there. I felt like there was something. I mean, yeah, whatever, the 4 games with the ankle, but I felt like there was just like, I don't know how to explain if it was Dallas's offense or CD seemed. I don't know. What was your take on CD this past year?
Well, I mean, he was banged up. There was a lot to go that went on, So I think that this year will be different. I think CD's going to ball out. He lost his confidence during that stretch as well, where he's dropping footballs. He doesn't drop. I mean, it was a lot of stuff that just needs a reset to me. He's going to be healthy. It's a reset. He'll be good. I think if anything, Lamb's going to be playing almost like he's got a lot to prove and a chip on his shoulder. He's still the number one, but he's got a great attitude about the timeshare and the workload divide. But if anybody can feed both of it again, it's Dak. Dak's proven. I think that at the end of the day, though, if you're trying to do like a dynasty analysis of the Pickens and Lamb landing spot versus like a JSN or a Jamar Chase, there's a little more concern because Pickens finished number 5, that if Dak was to get injured or diminish or whatever, that you have Pickens if he does get his new contract, and Jerry could trade him on the tag. We just don't know how that's going to go.
I was going to say, I straight up believe Pickens is one of those guys. Actually, if he doesn't get it, I could see him sit he'll just say, "I'm not playing this year." Well, I could see him not
Yeah, I mean, he's holding out. He's holding out for sure. But if they don't want to pay him top, he'll play. He'll hold out to an extent. He'll play because he's not gonna miss all that money, and there's no opportunity waiting for him at the end of the road. If he was to sit out the entire season, he wouldn't be any better position getting money that exceeds the money he was being offered. So at a certain point, him and his agent, they will have him return. But that leads to injury. That leads to a whole bunch of turmoil. That leads to potential to trade talks and trade avenues. But the problem is, I don't think we're even sniffing the territory of this being exhausted yet. And the NFL draft is around the corner. So this thing's got to unravel really quickly for Jerry to want to trade him. Otherwise, Jerry's just going to sit in this mode of, we don't want to lose good players. We're going to sign a contract. It's going to get done. And if they're so far apart, they need to make sure that they exhaust that avenue, create the severed relationship so that the friction's there to make a trade on draft day or before. Otherwise, the landing spots aren't there. Very hard to imagine a team after the draft when everybody's filled all their voids with rookies and the free agency players are all locked down. It's harder to envision a later trade. It's got to be a draft day trade or before. But anyways, my point was, what I was saying was the long-term value of Lamb and Pickens locked in together if Pickens gets his long-term deal. And then having to have Dak play at this high level, not get injured, not get replaced in 2 or 3 years, because that was a concern walking into this year. People were wondering, and then he played well, and now everyone's acting like it's not a concern. But it just takes 1 or 2 years in Dallas before the whole fan base turns on the player. And so there's just a world where if you trap Pickens in a long-term deal and Lamb in the situation, and then the quarterback production isn't there to support it, it could be kind of volatile. But other than that, like redraft, even in Dynasty, I'm buying Lamb more than I'm not. And I think that his ADP, which can sniff the later part of round 1 instead of being in the top 5, I think it's an acceptable place to gamble on Lamb over and over and over. I mean, I wouldn't take him in every draft, but I am taking him a little bit higher at a higher clip than most players in round 1 right now. I just think it's a fantastic value.
Yeah, again, that was all solely independent of Pickens being on the field. I'm not one of those that actually thinks it makes a difference on Lamb's production, but it was just from what I saw of Lamb, like just him.
Yeah, he wasn't healthy. He wasn't healthy, and then he got in his own head and he started dropping balls, and yeah, he was not in his right mind. But I don't think it's something I'm worried about translating to this year. But you never know. But the ADP is accounting for it. I mean, when I've seen people get him at 12, 13, at the 12, 13 turn.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy. On Underdog, we might draft tonight. Promo code Smitty. Hit this link. The link's in the description. Code Smitty gets it done. 50% matching your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. But I've seen Lamb and JJ go 12, 13. I've seen Lamb.
So I can take Lamb. So you would feel comfortable if I took Lamb over Waddle?
Lamb, man, I've never hung up. Or I'm sorry, Hebrew Hammer, I've never hung up on you before. Well, what did you just say to me?
So I can take him over Waddle.
Oh, are you joking again on that?
Yeah. It's hard for me to let that one go. But yeah,
sometimes I'm not sure, and I hear that, and I'm like, don't make me hang up on you for the first time, because you're not immune to it. You could say something like that and be a good sport about it if it ever happens. But I hang up on everybody once in their life. But thank God you're joking. All right.
I appreciate you. I just wanted your take on that second little tier kind of.
Yeah. Final question before you leave. Aiyuk, where is he playing? Final.
I really, I hate to say, I really don't care, and I think he's irrelevant. I mean,
But where is he going to be?
Live on this planet.
Where is he going to be? Predict. Pittsburgh. Seems like a place he'll go. Pittsburgh. Washington.
Pittsburgh or Washington. He's not going to Miami. I feel like Miami in that group.
It just feels like
they're
Pittsburgh.
trying to start something new, they're not going to bring in a nut job.
It just feels like Pittsburgh to me. I don't know why. It just does. All right, later, bro. Appreciate you. Thanks for the $50 hauler. You're the man.
All right, bye.
Later. All right, what do we got here? Oh, Bruce, you still there? Damn, I think I hung up on Bruce. Unless he hung up. I forget if I hung up on him. Are you playing for the Couch Potatoes? Probably. Are you playing for the Cleveland Couch Potatoes? The minor league team for the Cleveland Browns. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back at midnight tonight. We'll be live on Rumble as well there. So if you ventured over here from Rumble, I'm sorry that it didn't go live on Rumble today. I don't know what the hell happened. But I'll see you guys at midnight Eastern. You guys know how we do it. Super chats. Oh my God. BBQ, did I get to your super chat, Husseini? What is going on here? I didn't see these. Navage. I got Navages. I don't think I got BBQ, Husseini, and Cookie. Are you still here? Good Lord. I'm so sorry about this. Where are my boys at? BBQ said, guys who quit on their team are not guys I want in fantasy either. Dude loves himself more than he loves football. That's from BBQ. BBQ, thank you for the super chat. Why didn't I see this?
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Thank you, BBQ. Appreciate you. Husseini, thank you for the super
I
chat
smell
as well.
meatloaf.
God, I don't know what happened. Cookie's here too. So hopefully, if we have BBQ here, then no harm, no foul. But I'm sorry it took so long to see these. Husseini said, just because JD5 is friends with him doesn't mean JD5 wants him on the team. Friend, teammate, who two very different relationships. JD5 is a winner. Yeah, I still don't know. I think JD5 is pretty smart. And even when my buddies are like, you know, off their rocker, you're still their buddies, but you have some sense to it, you know. Like, I don't know if I want him, you know, over at the house right now. Like, are you inviting your buddy who's off his rocker over for dinner, you know, and the missus has got to cook for him? Or are you like, he's my buddy, but like, dude, stay away tonight. You know, we don't need you over tonight, pal. We got plans. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it's gonna. I hope it doesn't happen. And Cookie, appreciate you. I do see Cookies in the building as well. Cookie, thank you, pal. Cookie says 12-team Dynasty trade number 1, Kyler and a 1.2 for Willis at Hampton. I think you mean Ann Hampton. So Kyler and a 1.2 for Willis and Hampton. If this is super flex, I don't know that it even matters. It'd be the same answer. Hampton and Willis all day. Trade 2, Tua, Naylor, the 1.1 for Darnold, Walker, Olave, 2.2. I assume this is super flex. Otherwise, why would these quarterbacks be so heavily involved in this? Walker, Olave, 2.1. Wow, that's a lot of value. Naylor, 1.1. I think if I can win now, thank you, Cookie. Appreciate you. Where's BBQ? Is he still here? Damn it. I think if you can win now, Walker and Olave, I don't think you can pass on that for Love. I love Jeremiah Love. I do, but Walker's going to be, for the next 2 years at least, going to be a top 5-6 potential running back. You know, and Olave is a top 10 wide receiver. Does everybody agree that you're gonna? We love Love, but there's unknowns, man. You got to take the Walker and Olave and run. And I like that trade better than the Hampton one, if you know we're deciding. But I definitely like the Hampton one as well. But Chad, if you could vote on that one, I don't think they're going to be on the other side. I think they're going to agree that Walker is too damn valuable to get Olave. Cookie, it shouldn't. I don't think it's a tough call for me. Chat, vote on that, please. I mean, even if you guarantee me Love's in Tennessee, Walker and Olave's, that's a lot of value, bro. If Tyson goes to DC, would you trade Achane for Tyson and Tyler Warren? Love the show. Great offseason. Thank you. Appreciate you, E-Rock, for dropping the super
I
chat.
smell meatloaf.
My boy. Achane for Tyson and Tyler Warren. If it's tight end premium, yes. If it's not tight end premium, I'd rather have Achane. And I love Tyson, but I think I'd rather have Achane. But that's close, bro. Just because we got to be careful not to assume that players are going to be worth what we are projecting them to be worth. You know what I mean? Like, just because I like Jordan Tyson to become, let me put Jordan Tyson on screen here. Just because I tell you Jordan Tyson's the next CeeDee Lamb does not mean we go value him there. That is the appeal of getting him on your roster, is that he has that upside. If we start trading him or valuing him as if he's already CeeDee Lamb, we're losing the point and advantage. So the question remains, is Achane worth way more value than no matter where he is mixed with Warren? Achane by a country mile. Don't buy Tyson at the expectation high ceiling value. That's where you're buying him in that context, bro. It's not the way you want to do it. So definitely Achane by a country mile. You need to get a lot more than that. I'll see you all at midnight Eastern. You know how we do it. We'll be back live whenever big news breaks. Live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. So that'll be tonight. And then live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live at midnight. Live when big news breaks. Go check out thefantasyfootballshow.com. I can't stop adding new features. When you go to the rankings, there's now icons on certain players. There'll be like a favorite icon. There'll be a caution icon. You click on the icon, it gives you a pop-up box and blurb. On the decline, on the rise, all those icons will be added to the rankings as we go. You can also go to the rankings, and now there's 2 new sets of rankings. So we got redraft, dynasty, rookie, super rookie, which is the sophomores and rookies only, which your boy coined so many years ago and people are copying like crazy. Super flex redraft, super flex dynasty. Who has more rankings than that 365 24/7? Guess what? I just added 2 more rankings. Upside rankings and caution rankings. They're all on the filter toggles above the rankings. You can sort on any of those. You can now sort to the upside rankings. You can now sort to the caution rankings. Of course, the draft simulator, the trade calculator. I got in the business in 2002/2003. About 5 years after the internet was really even available to the common man. And I got in the business because I was doing radio on the longest running radio, what would be the longest running radio, fantasy football radio program in the world. 23 straight years. I was a part of it, 19. But I joined in 2002. And as I did that, I was like, there's no content out on the web right now that's even good. And there were so few. There's like 15 websites that had fantasy football content. And there was no trade calculator. So your boy said, I'll do it myself. People have tried their own trade calculator. Your boy was innovating in the space when some of you weren't even born. And I've enhanced the trade calculator ever since 2002, making it better, making it stronger. But what I did to the entire site and the trade calculator this year puts everything I've ever produced to shame. The site right now is so much more powerful than all of the years in the past that I've been doing it over 2 decades. So the trade calculator will knock your socks off. New stock market on the site. I have a stock market on the site, bull predictions, trade calculator, lineup calculator, draft simulator, articles, bull predictions, and then the most dynamic rankings you're going to find with all kinds of pop-ups and icons and different ways to you can redline the player. If you click on the player, you can redline them if you want to use them drafting, and they're unbelievable. So go check them out. See you all at midnight Eastern. Deuce.